I actually left the cotter pin in there. There we go. And we're not worried about threads, but if you are worried about threads, you can always rethread it if you want. Bam. Okay. Well, that won't be reused. Okay, so that's off there. Oh my God, it pressed it. It broke the whole piece out of it. No wonder this four-wheeler more than likely just got traded in. Just the cost alone for labor to do all this would be in the thousands and thousands. This is a hole saw for cutting holes in wood, and I'm just going to take the teeth off of it, and then that'll give me enough of a piece for the press to put the ball joints into. There we go. There's number 2. Okay, so welcome back, and we've got the whole front end of the ATV pulled apart, and okay, so welcome back to I bought a Polaris with a KTM engine because I thought I wanted a 450, but I didn't want to upgrade the engine, so I went ahead and went with the 525, but all the parts are outrageous because it's Polaris. We got the whole front end ripped apart, and what we have to do now is I need to change the Endlinks on this, and these are pretty stubborn to get these off. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you removing the Endlinks and then installing new ones, and I'm going to try to do it about as easy as possible, but these are the originals. I guarantee it. They won't even move when you start hammering on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it apart, and then I'm going to use my ultrasonic parts cleaner. If you don't have one, I may put out a video on one, not real sure yet. But they are well worth the investment, especially if you just want to clean stuff. I clean anything from vacuum cleaners to tools to parts, any kind of parts whatsoever with one of those. So we'll go back to the back of the shop and I'll get this thing on the vise, and then I'll show you how to hammer these out if they're really stuck. Okay, so I'm running out of room. What we're going to do is we're going to mount this piece inside of the vise here, the whole A Arm assembly, and then I've got one more castle nut to remove, and then I'll have to beat these end link pieces out. I'll tell you, I don't think these have ever been removed because I had a heck of a time getting the other ones out. They should have just fit in there and then torqued it, but you know, with the four-wheeler being a 2007, 13, 14 years old, and being underwater and with, you know, off-road terrain, things kind of get difficult to remove. You can heat them, but we're not going to. We're just going to beat them out because we're going to replace everything. So we just have to position this so we can remove that castle nut on the top. And remember, we're actually working with aluminum, so you kind of want to watch putting too much pressure on this stuff. I actually left the cotter pin in there, so we need to go ahead and remove it and get it removed so we can get this castle nut off there, like so. See if I can get better camera angle. Now these castle nuts are, I'm using a 19 millimeter, and I actually had to use the hammer to get it loose, and I had to actually tighten it and then come back and loosen it just to get it to move. There we go. So just torquing it down just a little bit was enough to get it to come out. There should be a washer. There's a washer behind this. Make sure you put that washer back in when you're done here. Oops, don't lose it. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to get an angle on this bottom part And we're going to take our punch, try to get a punch that's the exact same size as the piece itself, and we're just going to hammer this thing out and see if we can get it to push out. And we're not worried about threads, but if you are worried about threads, you can always rethread it if you want. You really gotta hammer on these things. It's moved a little bit. Make sure I'm gonna clean that hole up and probably put anti-seize on the thing so this don't happen like this again for the next owner, or if I decide to keep this. And this one I probably should heat this. Okay, this one broken loose here. I'll just get this aside. Then we'll go ahead and put the steering knuckle on here and knock this out, this top one out. We'll just go right through where it's supposed to be done. Bam. Okay. Let's get these things. Believe it or not, these things absolutely stink. I don't know what kind of mud this is out there in Oregon, but these things stink. So now what we're going to do is I'm just going to spray it down, kind of get it a little bit cleaner. And then what we're going to do is we've got to get our snap ring tools. With our snap ring tools, we're going to go around our snap ring. These are called external snap rings, I believe, and we're going to force it open if I can get it open here. And then I'm going to have to, with a screwdriver, try to get it wedged out. Might have to go back to the vise here and put these in a vise, because this snap ring tool just won't open these up just enough. Nope. Man, this snap ring tool just ain't enough. God, I'm gonna have to give new fucking pliers. Well, that won't be reused. Okay, so that's off there. Same thing on this one. We're just gonna I think I need a better snap ring tool. Usually These things aren't difficult to get off. You just come right off. Try to get this frickin' thing off of there. Come on. No, you're coming off there. I'm not playing. There we go. My God. Well, there's two of them. Oh my God, it pressed it. It broke the whole piece out of it. Oh my God. So what I'm gonna do now is just disassemble these. And we've got new pieces for all this to replace. Look at this. This is caused by water and setting. The grease should not be turning basically a nasty brown material here. Hopefully I can save those. I'll try to clean those up so I don't have to rebuy those. They don't look damaged. They just look really, really, really dirty. Oh, they stink. This four-wheeler stinks. These parts stink so bad. Oh. The mud and the gunk is just horrendous. Oh my God, it doesn't even smell like grease. It smells like crap. Look at the water in this. I haven't put any, this grease has held this water for over 2 years. This motorcycle's been in storage. These things, I can't even describe the smell. If you have been out in the woods and you know what this smell is. Same thing. These are all, those could probably be reused, but like I said, I've got new ones, so we'll just replace it. But there's definitely a lack of maintenance just for the grease. The rust. I mean, this is no wonder this four-wheeler more than likely just got traded in. Just the cost alone for labor to do all this would be in the thousands and thousands of dollars to do this. I'll be honest with you, this is the last four-wheeler that I'm gonna buy like this. I'll never buy another four-wheeler like this. I thought this coming from a dealership, the guy was like, oh yeah, this thing's good to go. What a fucking liar. Anything to make a goddamn sale. Okay, we'll get this stuff sorted out and I'll get it ready for the parts cleaner. Fabuloso. Good for cleaning your house, also good for cleaning your tools. And then when you use these ultrasonic parts cleaner, the one thing is when you put your bolts and stuff in, you kind of want to put them in a plastic container, and then the actual waves will go through the plastic container once you load them up. Before we put the A-arms in, I've got the Endlinks and a few other nuts and bolts in there. Turn it on, and actually this one has a heating element in it, so we're going to go ahead and let it get heated up before I start it, and I'll show you a couple of the parts. I mean, these were the steering knuckles, and I mean, these things are about as clean as they're going to get. I'm not going to hand scrub them. And then we have our hubs with our brakes. That these machines are just phenomenal. A lot of the times it just depends on what you what kind of abrasive cleaner you're using on how good or well a job. I just like to use water and then like a just like a regular cleaner. I don't like to use stuff that's real powerful for like carburetors and stuff. But we'll let this heat up and then turn it on and we'll see the results. Well, I've got my ultrasonic parts cleaner all available, and we have our A-arms disassembled And this is going to end up being a two-part episode. I really thought that those pieces in the A-arms were just going to pop off of there, and they're not. So with our A-arms completely disassembled, we're going to go ahead and put these in here, and I'm kind of hoping that the heat will help break some of the resistance that I'm getting on removing these. I completely destroyed this one, and I really don't want to beat on these any more than I have to, because I don't want to bend them. And oh boy, they're going to get full of water, probably rust out. But we'll go ahead and do this side first. We're going to run it for 20 minutes, and then we'll do the other side where all the grease inserts and all the pivot points are. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the heater on, and then I'm going to go ahead and set this machine for 20 minutes, and we're going to go ahead and run it, and hopefully the heat will help loosen that up so I can beat those out. If I can't beat those out, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, if I'm going to have to cut them out or what. Okay, and what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to clean these things up a little bit. I did just watch another video on the internet, and it said that you basically have to use your shop press to get these ball joints pressed out. So this is a hole saw for cutting holes in wood, and I'm just going to take the teeth off of it, and then that'll give me enough of a piece for the press to put the ball joints into. I'm just going to take the teeth off. And now with the teeth off, I'm going to go ahead and sand it and make it a little bit slicker. Trying to get it flat so it doesn't damage the A-arm. That'll work. There's our adapter right there. So this is actually the first time using this shop press here in this new shop, I'm calling it. And I had to make a homemade adapter, and we're just going to take the homemade adapter and put it on the end of the ball joint onto the A-arm like so, and then we're going to press down on the ball joint. This is the one that I beat that broke the ball joint off into the back. I just can't believe I couldn't hammer this out. So yeah, we'll go ahead and I'll try to pop this one out, but I don't know if I can get all the way in it, so I might have to get my bearing press tools as well. Now that we're all set up here on the shop press, I already pressed a little bit on this, and I got this one to move. And what I actually had to do was, this is for an Aprilia, and this is the Aprilia head steering stem nut locker to lock the steering stem nuts, and I only got so far into it and then it stopped. So using this hole saw piece, it'll work. And we're just gonna, and I really didn't want to do this, but this one's damaged. because it's my fault. And this bearing installer tool that I have here is actually aluminum. So I'm really hoping I'm able to press this out with that aluminum piece, and it's moving. So get this hopefully out of there, this damaged one. There we go, and it just fell through. So we're gonna go through here and I'm gonna do the rest of them. So woo, we'll be good to go. Okay, so we're on our next one here, number 2. We're gonna have to raise the, would really like to, I seen people modify these and make them hydraulic for about 200 bucks with an air compressor. I thought about doing that, but when you're working on these motorcycles and stuff, everything's pretty, you don't want to use a whole lot of force on doing this stuff, so that's why we're going to just do it all by hand here. We're just going to press this one out as well. Okay, we've got resistance here, and it is not wanting to move. It's not very stiff. I'm actually going to move the camera. Trying to get these camera angles in this little garage is not an easy task. I do not want to bend these A-arms. I don't know if I can get these. There we go, it's moving. Come on. There we go. There's number 2. You want to try to get these about as straight as possible. We're just going to try to force this one out. There it goes. Yeah, trying to beat these out with a hammer, it's just not possible. I think soaking them in that ultrasonic parts cleaner helped though. And you think this Harbor Freight piece was about 200 bucks, 20% off, I don't know, 160 or whatever, 70, 80. Just one use out of it. And I just saved myself from going to the shop. And we're just gonna press this one out of here as well. There we go. Since I have all these A-arms apart and I've got them pretty much cleaned up, they're pretty wore down. I'm actually just gonna paint them up with some Rust-Oleum paint and just freshen these things up before I put the other ball joints in. So it'll just give it a little bit more of a better look.